So I've been hearing about this medical breakthrough. Your doctor can give you a prescription with some amazing benefits. Check this out. In your brain, for example, it helps you focus and improves your cognitive function. It helps your liver and kidneys filter your blood better, and it literally creates more blood in your body. It makes your bones stronger, lowers your blood pressure and cholesterol, improves your digestion. It could even help you lose some weight. Well, if you haven't guessed yet, this prescription isn't actually a drug, it's exercise. Health is Wealth is supported by Meridian Health Services and Lifestream Services. Is exercise good for you? If you walk down the street and ask 100 people that question, a huge majority would say yes. In a 2018 survey of American adults, 85% said exercise improves their general health. But it's one thing to say exercise is good for me. It's another thing to actually live as if that's true. And the data on whether we really are exercising, well, it's not great. A recent national survey says only 1 in 4 adults meet the weekly physical activity guidelines for both aerobic and muscle strengthening activity. So if 85% of people say exercise is good for them, but only 25% of people are actually exercising, that means 60% of us know it's good for us, but just aren't doing it. Sound familiar? Yeah, it does to me too. I'm not as active as I'd like to be. And one of the reasons is I have 3 young kids and it's just harder to make time to exercise than it used to be. But whatever the barriers are for you, there are ways to overcome them. And we'll talk about that in future episodes. This is the 2nd season of Health is Wealth. And this season we'll be focusing on exercise. We're going to hear from healthcare providers from around East Central Indiana and experts who have done incredible research into exercise. But I'm also going to be introducing you to ordinary people in our community who have found their own unique ways to stay active. And I hope they help you find the exercise path that works best for you. But first I want to talk about why we exercise. What's so great about exercise? And what's actually going on in our bodies when we exercise? To start, I visited the Human Performance Laboratory at Ball State University. They're taking part in a gigantic nationwide study involving over 32 institutions and over 1,500 people being tested. It's called the Molecular Transducers of Physical Activity Consortium, or the much easier to say MoTrPAC.
So we're taking blood samples, muscle samples, adipose samples with, before, during, and after exercise to look at that full range of the dynamic response to understand at the molecular level how the body's responding to exercise.
Now this is a long-term study turning 10 years old this year. They recently wrapped up the human data collection phase, and there's still a ways to go on data analysis and results. But there has been an animal phase of the study already completed at other research sites.
And the advantage of the animals is that you can collect tissues that we can't collect in the humans. So they're analyzing 19 different organs in the animal data as well. And some of those stuff have already been published. And sort of the cliff notes from the animal stuff so far is that all organs responded in a favorable manner to an exercise stimulus. If you can think of a system in the body from the kidneys, the GI, the spleen, the adrenal glands, the bones, the muscles, the heart, the brain, it all is having some benefit from exercise. And we're learning that now from these animal studies that all these organs have an exercise response.
One of my favorite ways to be active is to ride my bike. And when I finish a good bike ride, I can feel that my legs have been working hard. And a couple days from now, when I walk up the stairs, my quads are going to be barking at me. So I know that my leg muscles are getting stronger. But Scott says that's just the beginning of what's going on in my body.
We'll use the muscle as an example. They make novel compounds during exercise. They're released into the circulation and they go communicate with multiple organs throughout the body. The liver, the heart, the brain, there's all these, the gut, they're all interacting. They're sending signals back too. So there's this sort of superhighway of molecular information that's exchanging hands between the organs. And the stuff you really don't see or feel is benefiting from organ health from exercise.
The benefits start in the head, okay, even with your eyes. If you're constantly staring at a screen, you're not properly working the muscles. But when you are moving, whether it's jumping rope, walking, running, etc., your eyes are functioning in the manner that they were intended to.
You start to realize, my mood's better, I'm sleeping better. Because as we do exercise, it stimulates hormones and other endorphins, neurochemicals like serotonin and dopamine that give us those sensation of happiness, of pleasure, of reward that then just motivates us to keep doing it more.
It's been shown to improve memory. It improves general cognition. It enhances mood and symptoms of depression in a whole variety of populations, including people who have or have not been diagnosed with clinical depression.
Your heart is a muscle. Every single muscle in your body does not get strong if you don't make it move. And by doing any amount of physical activity, you're actually making your heart function better and, in time, more efficiently.
It helps with our circulation. It helps with lowering cholesterol, specifically triglycerides. It helps increase your HDL, which is your high-density lipoprotein, which is your good cholesterol, so that's a benefit. It helps your blood pressure, specifically your systolic and your diastolic blood pressure, so it lowers that or decreases that with exercise.
Regular exercise does things like helps you build more plasma, which is the watery part of your blood. So you literally have more blood. And you have more red blood cells, which are responsible for carrying oxygen. So being physically active promotes your ability to move blood to all of these different organ systems. And that promotes better thinking and better memory. It promotes better filtering of blood through the liver and the kidneys.
Exercise before pregnancy and even during pregnancy decreases the risk of all of them, decreases the risk of diabetes in pregnancy, hypertension in pregnancy, and also gives them better delivery, less chances of C-section, less chances of operative vaginal delivery, and also less chances of postpartum depression.
We sometimes talk about metabolic health, and specifically we're usually talking about things like diabetes. And diabetes is a condition in which people don't metabolize glucose very well. Regular exercise enhances the ability to, first of all, move glucose out of the blood into the muscle, which is important because circulating levels of blood glucose can be damaging.
Gut health, intestinal support. You need to get the byproducts of food out of your system. And if you don't move your body, you're not going to move your bowels. And if you don't get those toxins out of your system, you're going to feel very irritable or sick to your stomach or not even want to get out of bed in the morning.
So to recap, here are just a few of the many ways your body benefits from exercise. Healthier eyes, less depression and anxiety, better sleep, better memory and cognition, stronger and more efficient heart, decreased bad cholesterol and increased good cholesterol, lower blood pressure, more blood and better circulation, better filtering in liver and kidneys, healthier pregnancy and delivery, and improved gut health. I mean, who wouldn't want all those things, right? If there was a daily pill I could take for all that, sign me up. But of course, it's not a pill, it's exercise. So what if your doctor wrote you a prescription for exercise?
I have seen in multiple readings, food is medicine, sleep is medicine. Well, a prescription usually brings medicine. So if you prescribe food, sleep, exercise, physical activity as medicine, and actually many physicians have a exercise prescription pad where they will write down the expectations. For children and adolescents, I try to formulate instead on their patient plan a goal. And then when they come back and see me, I ask them, did you fulfill your goal? If you hit it, great. If you succeeded it, fantastic. If you didn't, well, that's okay. We have work in progress.
There's scientific research to back this up. Exercise prescriptions increase physical activity and improve health outcomes all the way from adolescents to older adults, especially when they're tailored to the individual. In fact, a landmark 2003 study in New Zealand followed almost 900 inactive adults for a year. Some of the patients received a so-called green prescription from their doctor, followed up by a few phone calls to provide encouragement and support. After 12 months, the group with the green prescription exercised a half hour more per week than the control group, and they reported better general health and less body pain. The results of the study were so striking that the green prescription concept quickly became a nationwide program funded by New Zealand's Ministry of Health. And it's still going strong today. In fact, an evaluation just last year found that the program has resulted in a $128 million reduction in the use of health services. That's a return of $14 for every dollar invested in the program. Look, I've seen enough of the American healthcare system that I'm not expecting a program like that to take off here, but maybe you can make it happen for yourself. Find a physical activity that's fun for you, and talk with your doctor about how often to do it. And don't forget to find someone who will check in with you every now and then to encourage you along the way. It's not as easy as taking a pill, but it might turn out to be a lot more fun. We're going to have a new episode of Health is Wealth coming your way every week, so make sure to like this video and subscribe so the all-powerful YouTube algorithm can let you know when the next episode drops. Next up, I'll be going to Newcastle to cut down invasive honeysuckle as we find out why exercise works best with a sense of purpose. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.